welcome back to the Saturday Scholars College Football Podcast. That is Gonzo. I am Shoob, and today we are here to do Week 7 predictions. Let's go. Another week, another great slate of college football. Last week was crazy. Last week had some crazy twists and turns, some pretty bad game management from certain coaches, if you're going to ask me. This week, let's embrace the chaos. Let's keep it going, man. It's been a phenomenal season so far. Hopefully there's going to be some big upsets this week and some more chaos. I can't wait for it. Zan is not here today, but he still sent in his picks, so we're going to be mentioning his as we go along. But Gonzo, you ready to get going here?
Let's roll.
So starting off the slate here, we're going to start with picking a handful of G5 matchups this week. Let's start off with two of them. Liberty versus Jacksonville State on a Tuesday night. That's right. We're in October, so that means Tuesday night, CUSA Chaos, baby. The 5-0 Liberty Flames are facing off against the 5-1 Jacksonville State Gamecocks. And both these teams are 3-0 in conference play. But unfortunately, Jacksonville State is not eligible for the CUSA championship because of the corrupt and crooked NCAA that does not allow teams that move up to FBS to compete for conference championships. But you know what? Let's just pretend that's not the case, because otherwise this would be a huge pivotal game in the CUSA championship race. Who do you got, Gonzo? Liberty is a 3-point favorite. Or 6-point favorite.
Man, you said 3. My eyes got wide there.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, playing that last week close to the vest, I'm going to take the Flames both ways. I think they can win this one by at least a touchdown, even on the road.
Yeah, Liberty has looked pretty good so far this year. So has Jacksonville State, to be honest. Liberty has played a very bad schedule, but it'll be interesting. I think Liberty being on the road here makes this one really interesting. So Zan is going to go with Liberty to win. However, he's going to go with Jacksonville State to cover.
Okay.
So I am going to lay the 6 points here with Liberty. Give me the Flames by a touchdown here. Liberty kind of played a really poor game last week against Sam Houston. I think they bring the energy. I think they're going to play their A game against Jacksonville State, and I'm gonna trust the Flames to power through the Tuesday night chaos. Give me Caden Salter having a good game once again. I like the Flames here, but no disrespect to Jacksonville State. They've done a phenomenal job since joining the FBS this year. All right. Let's move over to the Sun Belts. This is a Thursday night game. No, this is a what day is this game?
This game, it's during the week, which is great. It gets wacky once we get into October, man, because you'll turn around and be like, oh man, I didn't even realize so and so was playing.
Sorry, this is a Saturday game. I'm all out of whack here. I mean... yeah. Well, see, shame on me for just assuming that a good G5 matchup is on a weeknight. But, most of the time, especially during this month, with the way that the TV contracts are working out, they want those G5 games during the week. But, yeah, this one's just on a Saturday. Let's go. Saturday game, Georgia Southern, James Madison. JMU, of course, is 5-0. And like Jacksonville State, they are not eligible for the conference championship. But, we say screw the NCAA on this podcast because we're picking it. Because these are two good teams. James Madison is a 3.5-point favorite.
JMU both ways.
Ooh.
They're at home, and they've been just fantastic. As someone who actually had taken their under this year, I'm kind of eating crow. The Dukes have still been good, and I think they'll continue to show why they've been so good.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest here, I do not understand why this is only a 3.5-point spread unless I came up with a typo. I don't believe I did. This is a 3.5-point spread. Unless there's something we're missing, give me JMU. I'm laying that 3.5 points, especially at home. I mean, JMU's just been killing teams so far this year. Georgia Southern quietly has been solid. They're 4-1, but yeah, exactly. I think JMU is going to win this game, and Zan is with us. We got JMU across the board. We're both picking them to win and cover the spread.
Well, let's congratulate the Eagles on their win in advance then.
Seriously, though. All right, let's go back into the Power 5. This is a big one. A top 10 matchup. This is one that we've been waiting for basically since the season started. We've been waiting for these two teams to finally play one another. It's finally here. Let's go. I cannot wait. Number 8, Oregon is going on the road to face number 7 Washington. This could be the two best teams in the Pac-12 playing against one another. This could be a potential Pac-12 championship game rematch. We shall see. There's a lot of football to be played, but I think right now the consensus is these are the best two teams in the Pac-12, and this is going to be a great game. I can already tell it. I can feel it. Washington is a 3-point favorite. What do you got, man?
Huskies, baby, both ways. Between Nix and Penix, I like Penix. I think one of them continues the Heisman run in this game. I like that Washington is at home. That is actually the big thing for me. Their defense does have me concerned, but I really think for me it's the home field advantage that will make the difference there. And I think they did beat them last year too, actually. So I'm curious to see if they could stack another win against the Ducks. So go Huskies.
Zan is going to disagree with you, my friend. He's picking Oregon
Good.
to win this game. Yeah, finally
Good.
we
We
have
need that.
some differentiation here between us. Well, man, I am just absolutely heartbroken and torn on this game. These two teams, if I had to put them against one another, I'd say they're pretty much dead even. Of course, Vegas pretty much thinks the same way. Vegas has Washington as a 3-point favorite. And if you were to play this game at Autzen at Oregon,
They win.
Oregon would be a 3-point favorite.
Mhm.
So these two teams are power rated just about equally from one another. Washington had a down week against Arizona a couple weeks ago. They, of course, had a bye week to prepare. Oregon sort of had a down game in the first half against Stanford, and they also had a bye week to prepare for this. So both teams have had bye weeks. Washington is the home team. I look at these two teams, both phenomenal quarterbacks. The difference for me, Oregon's defense is just a little bit better. And I
Mhm.
hate to do this, man, because I have been all Washington guns ablazing on this podcast from the get-go, but I got to stop picking what I want to happen versus what I think will happen. And I think Oregon's
Mhm.
going to win this game, but man, this is going to be a big one, and I'm just really excited to see it. It's going to be phenomenal quarterback play either way, but I think Washington's receivers are going to have to step up and have a big day, of course, and which defense is going to come up with the most stops. As of right now, I think Oregon's defense is just a notch above Washington's, but we shall see, man. We shall see. This is phenomenal. I love it. I'm really glad these two teams are having a great season, and this is one game that I've been
I
looking forward to more than like any other so far this year.
I'm with you. And before we move on, I do think it's telling that Oregon is the only team that Colorado hasn't scored a million points on.
I like that, using Colorado as the barometer here. Yeah, that is a good point, man. Listen, Oregon's defense is legit. Dan Lanning's a defensive guy. It's year 2. We're kind of seeing this with Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Defensive coaches, once you give them a year or two to finally get their team up to speed with the system, it starts to reap the benefits. And I think Oregon's reaping those
Yes.
benefits. Yeah, I'm gonna trust Oregon to get it done on the road here, but man, flip the coin. I would not be surprised if Washington wins. I cannot wait for this one. I've said it like 5 times already. But let's move on. Texas A&M versus Tennessee. A&M is coming off of a heartbreaking loss last week to Alabama. Tennessee now is at home. They're ranked number 19, and they are a 3-point favorite. Another close spread here. Maybe this one's lost a little bit of juice since Tennessee and A&M have lost a handful of respective games collectively, but what do you think is going to happen here with this one?
So going into this game, I was leaning A&M, but then we did the recap pod, and you reminded me that A&M couldn't cover you and me running routes, and they're going against an offense that is predicated on exposing secondaries and scheming guys open. So I'm going to take, and it's in Rocky Top, which is low key very, very tough to play in, and they're going to be juiced. And I'm going to take the balls both ways. The big why A&M will win is if that defensive line wins more than Tennessee's offensive line, who has been better than most people thought this year, is my understanding. But give me the balls to win a tight one.
Listen, these two teams are almost carbon copies of one another, just inverted. You have
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, who has the 12th ranked offense and the 21st ranked defense, and you have A&M, who has the 11th ranked defense and the 22nd ranked offense. So basically, they're inverted one another. Tennessee's strength, of course, is the offense. A&M's the defense, but the opposite sides of the ball are still pretty solid for both teams. Tennessee's defense, especially, really improved this year. Given that Tennessee is at home, and given, as you mentioned, that A&M has really struggled with the secondary issues, are they going to be able to clean that up all in 1 week? I don't know if DJ Durkin is the type of defensive coordinator, the type of coach that I can trust in this situation, especially against this offense. Let's keep in mind, this is a cross-divisional game. This is one of those rotational games. So A&M hasn't seen Tennessee with Heupel yet. They haven't seen this offense yet, as far as I know. This spells trouble for A&M. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think Tennessee will have a good game. They are at home. I expect a good performance out of Tennessee, but I think A&M can keep it close if they can run the ball well, of course, and keep the offense off the field. But either way, I think I like Tennessee in that spot. I like Tennessee by a touchdown. So lay the 3. Ooh, the Big Ten West. The great Big Ten West.
That'll get
Versus
here.
Wisconsin. This is, the quote unquote heavyweights of this division playing one another. Wisconsin's at home. Wisconsin's a 9.5-point favorite. This game pretty much, even though the Big Ten West is just complete chaos every year, I kind of feel like this game is going to decide who wins the division. And I may get old takes exposed on this by the end of the year because of, it's the Big Ten West. But what do we got here? Vegas says Wisconsin should be favored by multiple points.
In good faith, I cannot convince myself that I was going to go into Madison with Deacon Hill, who I maybe transferred from Wisconsin, I want to say, and win this game. So I think Wisconsin on the money line is going to win. But do you really think that I'm going to at all believe that Wisconsin is going to find a way to win this game by 10? No, you already know Iowa's going to get a strip sack. I mean, or a pick 6. So yeah, Iowa covers. Absolutely.
Zane is in agreement with you. He has Wisconsin winning outright, but he has Iowa covering that spread. He thinks Iowa can keep it within 9 points, just like you. Well, you know what, man? Listen, because it is Iowa, I am so tempted to pick Iowa to win this game as a 9.5-point underdog.
I thought
Like,
about it.
This is a 9.5-point spread, but this is one of those games where it's like, I don't care what the spread is. I can totally see Iowa winning this game. And the path to them winning this game is like crazy Iowa stuff. And listen, I don't know if Tanner Mordecai is the guy that I trust to not let Iowa do that to them. I think Iowa can very well do this to Tanner Mordecai, and I am very, very fearful of this. However, I'm going to pick Luke Fickell and the coaching staff. The cooler heads will prevail, but I gotta take Iowa on the spread because you just know that there's gonna be some crazy stuff here. It's Iowa, so give me the Hawkeyes, and I would not be surprised if they win this game outright. I'll put it that way. All right, we're in unison there. The last 2 picks. Let's go back into the G5. We picked Wyoming against Fresno State last week. Well, let's pick the Cowboys again. They're going on the road to face Air Force. Air Force is a 9.5-point favorite. This is a big game in the Mountain West Championship race. These are 2 teams that are at the top of the league right now. And these are 2 teams that, once again, could rematch for the conference championship in the Mountain West. Both teams are undefeated in conference play. What do we got here? Air Force is 5-0.
I'm going to be a little risky on this one. I'm going to take Air Force both ways. Air Force had a week to prepare. Air Force is at home. Air Force has been mashing teams, even though it's been kind of on the weaker side. But Wyoming, I want you to prove to me that I don't know anything. Go in, keep it close. Heck, go and win the game. But I'm going to go with what I've seen, and I'm putting my faith in the Falcons. Let's fly.
Let's fly, baby. So Zan is going to take the same approach that he took last week. He's going to take Air Force to win, but he's taking Wyoming on the spread. That seemed to work out. Yeah, seemed to work out for him last week. Listen, Gonzo, I'm going to tell you here.
Okay.
I'm once again
Okay.
going to fade. Wyoming, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite me 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to lay
Be
the
the
nine
top
and a
one.
half with Air Force. Yeah, I like the bye week preparation. I like all of it. It's just when you run that triple option, it at the end of the day, it's turnovers. If Air
Mm-hmm.
Force plays a clean game and they don't turn the ball over, I like their chances to cover this 9.5 points. But if we get some turnovers that don't go in their favor, Wyoming is covering and they might very well go in there and win this game. So we shall see, but I'm
It'll
going
be
to put
fun.
my faith in the Air Force Falcons. They were my team last year. It's looking like I might have been a year early on them. I'm gonna get some nostalgia from 2022 going here. Lay the 9.5 with the Falcons. But I will say I'm glad Zan took Wyoming on the spread, so we got one of us on there. So we're just not completely fading the Cowboys. All right. Poor Notre Dame. Poor Notre Dame. They have been through the ringer. They are in the midst of a gauntlet right now on their schedule. They are just playing top teams after top teams every single week. And those games have been grueling. They've lost two of them. They got the one on the road against Duke, took out their quarterback in the process as well. I mean, Notre Dame is just like coming into this game with a bunch of black eyes and a bunch of gashes on their face right now. And hey, what do you get? You get Caleb Williams, a Heisman Trophy winner, and Lincoln Riley's USC team. Yeah,
Yep.
that's Notre Dame right now. How many punches can this team take? How many fistfights can they get into? They are favored in this game, believe it or not. They're 2.5 point favorite. They are at home against
I bet that
USC.
goes to even. So it occurred to me, Shoob, that maybe USC completely sold on the Arizona game because they were prepping for Notre Dame. But with the state of their defense, it's easy to believe, oh no, they just really cannot play, any sense of common of defense against anybody. That all being said, since I've got kind of a win total on the line here with USC's under and Notre Dame's over, I'm going to use that and I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this game because I think this will be the best defense USC faces up to this point. I'm pretty sure Notre Dame would be. And there's no way Sam Hartman's going to have a 5 turnover game again. It's a complete outlier. That was a very tough situation they were in the stretch they've been in. I think you can come home, reset, and then, if you got Lincoln Riley making dumb coaching decisions like he did at the end of the Arizona game, even if Marcus Freeman has 9 guys on the field, maybe Notre Dame can escape with this one. So I'm not confident in it, but give me the Irish. Maybe we get that look of the Irish back.
Zan is going to take USC on the road to win this game. He's taking
I
the
don't blame him.
Trojans to win and cover, of course. We have
Of
an
course, got
in-house
the
rule
Heisman.
here. Yeah, we have an in-house rule here that you cannot hedge on the spread if it's within a field goal.
Great
Well,
rule.
Gonzo, once again, I am going to tell you, give me Notre Dame.
I
I've
love
been
it, Shoob.
listen. I've been picking the Irish. I picked them last week. That didn't go quite so well. We all know how that went against Louisville,
We
but
all did. We all
I
did.
feel like what is the principle with the Pac-12? What is our golden rule? And I know Notre Dame is not in the Pac-12, but they are playing a Pac-12 team.
It cannibalizes itself.
When you are a Pac-12 team and you are undefeated and you are going on the road to face another quality team of equal caliber, you are going to lose because that's what the Pac-12 does to itself. And I know this is not a conference game, but I still think it applies. Give me Notre Dame. I think they have a matchup advantage here. This is a game where Notre Dame can run the ball, can control the line of scrimmage, can control the clock, can keep the Heisman Trophy winner off the field, and can win this game. I see a bounce back for Notre Dame, but man, I am worried about this because, Notre Dame's going to be fatigued, but I think they can play the style of ball they want to play. They can keep the defense off the field, ideally enough to win this game. I think they're going to do that at home. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, it'll be
with
interesting.
Estime, just run. Sorry,
Just run the
run.
ball.
Keep like they do with Pat Mahomes in the NFL. Keep Caleb Williams off the field.
Notre Dame plays to its
Sorry.
strength. I like their chance. Yeah, Notre Dame plays to their strength. I like their chances to win this game. But we shall see. Zan's going with the Trojans. All right. How about another close spread here? This is still a ranked matchup, even though Miami is licking their wounds, or I should say Mario Cristobal is he should be licking his own brain because it did not seem to function properly last week against Georgia Tech inside 40 seconds. And he is the sole reason why his team is not undefeated and potentially ranked in the top 10 going into this game. But they got to go on the road to face North Carolina. Yeah, you lost to Georgia Tech. You took one of the worst losses I've ever seen. Well, guess what? Now you got to go play North Carolina and Drake May, the potential number 2 pick in the overall draft, and you're on the road. Yeah, good luck, Miami. Good luck, Cristobal. What do you see happening here? UNC is a 3.5-point favorite.
I see the heels both ways, and here's why. I think Carolina is more quote unquote battle tested because Minnesota's not good, but you still play Minnesota. App State taking it overtime is not ideal, but that does build character. I hate to be cliche, but it does win a game like that. And this is Miami's, like, I feel like this is their first true road game. Yeah, you beat A&M and that was at home, but this is, you got to go on the road. Chapel Hill is going to be rowdy. And in the quarterback matchup, TVD's good. Drake May's better. And take the over.
I like it. Zan is with you. He's going to take UNC to win and cover that spread. Well, boys, call me a maniac. I'm taking the U.
Mario Maniac over here.
I just trashed Mario, but I'm picking Mario this week because you know what? I'll say this. I've been a UNC doubter / hater all season long. If UNC can win this game and prove to me that they are legit, this is the game right here that UNC can prove to me you are a legit ACC and fringe playoff contender if they win this game, because I full on expect Miami to have a bounce back after what we just saw last week. Full on expect Miami to give UNC their A game, and I know it's on the road, but I'm going to take the Canes to win. And if UNC, if they win this game, then tip of the cap for me, but I'm going to trust the Canes in a bounce back situation here. I think this is sort of an ACC cannibalization game. Even though UNC's at home, I see this one as the rope sort of straightening out here a little bit because I think there's some slack, and I think this rope's getting straightened out. Give a ones in the loss column to UNC.
Hey, was a strip sack fumble away from winning in Chapel Hill 2 years ago. I remember that vividly. So it's not like they're not competitive when they go up there.
Yeah, I do not expect a blowout either way in this game. I'll put it that way, especially with the way Drake May has looked last week against Syracuse. If Drake May has finally gotten over the hump, I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. 2 good quarterbacks, of course. All right, back into the SEC, Missouri coming off a loss to LSU in a barn burner. And then you have Kentucky, who's battered and bruised after just completely selling against Georgia last week. At least that's what we suspect here on the Saturday Scholars College Football Podcast. Well, these are 2 teams that we both said early on in the year, we were like, these 2 teams could be competing for second best in the SEC East. And yeah, that's with Tennessee including. Well, now they play each other. So this is a pivotal game for sort of that positioning in the SEC East behind Georgia. Which one of these 2 teams do you think could climb that ladder? Kentucky's at home, and they are thus a 2.5-point favorite. So these 2 teams are power rated pretty equally.
Wrong team favored. Go Tigers.
Ooh.
I really do think Missouri should be favored. They've got the better quarterback, in my opinion. They've got the better skill position in terms of Luther Burden and even Theo Weiss. Kentucky's got the better running back in Ray Davis, but I like this Missouri defense versus this Kentucky offense in that O-line. No one's going to stop LSU's offense with how it's cooking right now. And I think that Kentucky's only favored because they're at home, but I really do think Mizzou should be a road favorite.
Zan is inclined to agree with you. He's going to take Missouri to win and cover, of course, outright. So this one's really tough, man. These 2 teams definitely have a contrast in offensive styles. If in terms of efficiency, these are 2 pretty balanced teams. Both these defenses are solid, but Missouri, of course, is going to throw the ball a little bit more than Kentucky will. Though I will say Missouri does have a pretty good run game with Cody Schrader there at running back.
Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah, they do.
Yeah. So I think that I agree with you guys. I think that Missouri is slightly the better team, and I know they're on the road. Give me Missouri. And I don't like this because
to the Kentucky Wildcats on their home victory.
Fading Kentucky does not seem to go well for us, but we shall see. But I kind of like Missouri as the second best team. I like them a little bit over Kentucky, but man, I would not be surprised if the Wildcats win this one. But yeah, this will be very interesting. This will be very interesting because these two teams are finally playing another conference opponent that's really like equally matched to one
Yes.
another. So we shall see. All right. Let's finish off with another Pac-12 ranked matchup. Let's go. Number 18, UCLA. They're going on the road up to Corvallis to face number 15, Oregon State. Oregon State's a 5-point favorite. What do you got in this one?
Ooh, this can be a dogfight. We're gonna build the dam. I can. It's hard for me to go against it. Give me Oregon State to win, but I like UCLA to cover. This just screams like a 38-35 or even like UCLA winning the game, so at least I'll have the cover. But I think this is the best way to attack this. And Oregon State's at home, and they're a different animal when they're playing in Corvallis. So maybe that will help them win the game by 10. But let's go Beavs to win it, UCLA to keep it close as Dante Moore continues to progress, and Carson Steele gets incorporated more in the running game.
That's a good point you made about Dante Moore. He definitely showed signs of life, signs of progression last week against Washington State and that big win for the Bruins. But sticking to principle here, man. When you had a bad spread record like I did last week, I beat it and bruised, man. I'm like Kentucky. I'm like Notre Dame.
Notre Dame more so,
I'm
yeah.
yeah, you think Notre Dame's been going through the ringer. I've been going through the ringer with these spreads, man. I mean, just look at the top of the graphic here. It's tough, man, when you have listen, this is why we do not condone betting if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Mhm.
And obviously we are using fake units here because you shouldn't be betting on these games just spraying the board just cuz, but we're doing it for fun, with hypothetical units. This is
And
why
it's
you don't do
before
that.
and it's before closing line value. Some of these numbers get a little better as we get closer, and obviously we don't have the time to wait until Friday night to to give our final thoughts. So we got to go with Sunday, and then if the line moves to a way that would have been more favorable, so be it. We got what we got.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a little bit of a disadvantage picking these games early in the week on Sunday. But with that being said, I am going to take Oregon State to win, and I'm going to take Oregon State to lay the 5 points there. I
I
like the
like it.
Beavers by a touchdown. So Zan and I are in lockstep here with the Beavs on the spread. I like Oregon State in this spot. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a night game or at least an evening game.
Okay.
And I expect Oregon State, especially the defense, to play up on the road. And I'm not going to trust Dante Moore to fulfill what UCLA wants him to do on the road completely, at least what it takes to win this game. I'm not putting that faith in him yet, but if he proves me wrong, so be it. I like the Beavs in this spot at home. All right, man. Week 7 picks are in the books. I'm going to try to improve on my spread record, but man, I am in the
Can only
hole
go
for the
up.
rest of the year. I don't see how I'm going to dig myself out of this hole, to be honest. If I go 10-0 on spreads this week, I'm still negative 4.6 units. But yeah, shout out to you, Gonzo. You're the only man left that is positive so far on the year in terms of units. Zan is barely in the hole at negative 2 units, though he still is 31-30-1 on the spread, so he still is looking good there. And you know what's weird, man? You know why this is all weird and funky? Is that even though you guys are killing me on the spreads, I got a 2-game lead on terms of outright winners. So I'm picking the outright winners correctly. In fact, 2 games better than you guys, but spreads is a whole nother ball game. It is a whole nother ball game, and it is hard to do, man. Vegas is
It
sharp.
is.
Vegas
They know what they're
is
doing.
sharp. Yep, they know what they're doing, and that's why they make millions of dollars every year from people like us that aren't betting hypothetical units. They're betting real
Insider
units.
info.
Yeah, they're betting. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But
Twitter told
anyways,
me Scott was hurt.
right. So that should be a lesson learned for those of you who are curious about sports betting. Yeah, don't do it unless you know what you're doing. All right. Week 7 picks in the books for Gonzo, Shoob, and Zan, who is not here with us today. This is the Saturday Scholars signing out. See y'all later. Enjoy your college football Saturday.